Yo, what's happening? So I filmed a video yesterday, but I was wearing my my work t-shirt, and in a few of the shots the logo came up, so we're not doing that. So I'm going to redo it now and talk about what I have to talk about. So today's video is going to be about manhood. As men, you know, when we are raising our children, all right, I know for the younger people, you know, you don't want to think about these things, but it's important. We're put on this earth to procreate. We're supposed to be fruitful and multiply, and our seed is supposed to be passed on. So we know how to inherently, or at least we learn how to inherently raise our children as men. But the issue within families today is that women, or at least the mothers, right? The mothers try to take the position of the father in the household. They try to run everything, right? Women are in this society have become brainwashed to believe the feminist agenda. They believe that women are supposed to be the head of everything, to make decisions of everything, to carry the carry the financial burdens and the financial responsibility for everything. But this is far from what the truth actually is. I'm just sucking on a butter menthol because I've got a tingle in my throat. So this is far from the truth. Okay, the true order of things are: man is the head of the house. Okay, then there's woman, then there's children. That's the true order of things. And above man is Christ, and above Christ is God. This is the true order of things. See, when I was younger, okay, I can personally attest to this feminist agenda, because when I was younger, whenever my dad used to try and discipline me, okay, it would work to a certain degree. None of my dad, who has passed away now, God rest his soul, none of his disciplinary action towards me went in vain. Okay, all the discipline that my dad put on me, I started thinking about as an adult after he was gone. Because when he was here, he used to discipline me when I was a child, and I'd run to my mum, and instead of my mum saying, "You have to listen to your dad, if your dad said so, you need to listen to him," my mum would carry me in her arms, care for her. So, "Oh, it's okay," rub my head, pat me, "It's okay, I love you," you know. And she would speak to my dad or whatever. And then she would try to change my dad's, because my mum would fall for me as a child, okay, coming up to her, crying. She would go and speak to my dad, because that's where a man's weakness is his wife. But that's where that needs to stop. You know, in every single, not every single story, but most stories of the Bible, every time a man has fallen, it's because he was simping over a woman. Believe it or not, Samson, he fell because he was a simp. The first man created by God fell because he simped for his wife. Simping is not pimping. No, simping is bad, okay? In every case. There is no reason for you as a man to be putting your woman above your decisions, or putting a woman above your decisions, or to be putting her above you or on a pedestal. I fell victim to this for a very long time. I was a simp for ages. Until I learned what the true world is. A lot of people are not going to appreciate hearing this, but this is just how the world works. A simp, okay, somebody who puts a woman on a pedestal, women laugh at those guys. They're not attracted to those guys. Deep within inside, they're not attracted to men who put them above them. They're not wired to be like that. Women are wired to love the ones who have laser focus on something that's not them. When you focus on something else that's not them, they're able to focus on you and be attracted to you. That's attractive. When you're focused on a goal, you know, like weight loss or a business, God. Women love men like that. It's not that we don't care what women like, okay? This is what it's about. We don't give a crap about what women like or what women say. All right? It doesn't mean that we disrespect them, but we need to pay no mind to what a woman says, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are different. We are the decision makers. We are to be the head of the house. See, where my dad went wrong was to fall for my mum. Was to listen to my mum, okay, and to become softer in his old age on his disciplinary action. He should have stuck to his discipline, and he should have disciplined my mum too on those things. Should have said, no, I'm the man, okay, my children have to listen to me as a man. All right, not you. You can care for them and you can teach them what I'm allowing here, what I am allowing to be in the household, and that is the order of man. What the man is allowing. See, the woman, okay, and the children are going to follow what the man believes. Whatever you believe as a man, your wife and your kids are going to follow in those footsteps. That's why it's really hard. It's really, really hard in this day and age to have a family in the way that God has ordained it to be. You can't do it in this order without some pushback now, because of how feminist and woke the world has become. Women has become so woke, okay, that even the media, okay, and society is teaching them that men are weak, that men are the weak agenda, that we need to be, that men need to be neutered and laughed at and looked at like a laughing stock. But without us men, they can't procreate. Okay, that's what they forget. They say, oh, well, we bear the child and we give birth to the child, but what are you going to do without our seed? You see? What are you going to do without the man's seed? Nothing. Nothing. You're just going to have a womb that hasn't got a baby in it. You need something to fertilize the eggs. So you got to understand the order of things, and then you can see. It's like the Matrix, bro. We are in the Matrix. The true order that God has given us, okay, the world is turned upside down. In fact, they're putting the children first. All right? They're allowing children to say, oh, well, I want to be this and I want to be that. And I want to have piercings and tattoos at a young age and this and that, you know? And then the women. And then the man is on bottom. Men are like the bottom feeders now in society, which is not how God intended things to be. God made man in his own image. God made man in his own image. And a woman, he made a woman to be the helper for man, because it's not good for man to be alone. Okay? God made man in his own image. If you look at the Bible and what scripture says, this is what it actually says. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then you look at society and you see how society treats men, okay? How society is treating men, and you can see it. the woke agenda, the worldwide woke agenda. All right, the agenda is to put men down, okay, and to keep them down below the woman, because when the woman becomes the head, everything's chaotic. That's why we as men need to be the head. That's why you see families are so broken now. Why a woman who runs her family without the husband, the wife who runs without the husband, okay, the children run wild. The children end up messed up. In a lot of the cases, when there's no man in the household, the children go wild. And it's because the higher ups, they know these agendas that are playing out in society, they're planned to keep man low. So let's talk about now how we can become the best men that we can be, right? The agenda is there, and I'm not promising you anything that doing what I say now will help you to have a woman respect you. But if you do follow the things that I tell you now, all right, a woman will more likely be respecting you because of the things that you're doing. Okay, number one, never put a woman on a pedestal. Never ever put a woman on a pedestal. Never. Because I've gotten into this, I'm going to go straight to number two. Number two, focus on your health and well-being. Okay? And God, of course. Focus on your health and well-being. If you're not focused on your health, okay? So if you are overweight, okay? If you are unhealthy and you're eating sugary foods and McDonald's and all this junk food all the time, your mental and your energy and your physical and your spiritual being is going to be depleted, okay? Because your body's using up all those, there's no nutrients in those foods, okay? And if you're not exercising, you're not moving, you're consistently putting your head into video games, right? And not actually thinking about life, you're going to be in a lower place, lower consciousness, let's say. All right, you're not going to be thinking of spiritual things like God. You know, okay, that's why it's important to focus on nourishing the temple. Nourish the temple by eating good food, by exercising. Okay, if you're overweight, start counting your calories. Count your calories. Use the app. Gym Geek. Use the app Gym Geek. It's a free app to count your calories. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I am losing weight, okay, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimal. Do it yourself if you're overweight, okay. I am a gamer myself, okay. I love gaming. I've spent a lot of money on games, on Steam games and everything. I'm not saying that it's something that you have to permanently put away, all right. But it is important that if you're not in a place physically and spiritually where you're happy and content, then you need to put away the games, because that is going above your spiritual and physical needs. Okay, there's a reason why they're putting so much money into games, all right, and why they spend so much money developing these games is because they know that these games that young men are playing, okay, it replaces their physical growth. Why do you think there's achievements, accomplishments in games? Is because when men play and young men play games, they get to feel accomplished. They get to feel like they have achieved something. They have a level up system because they can level up. Okay, there's progression in these sorts of games. It becomes addictive, and the more realistic the game is, the better it is. That's why I fell so hard for Project Zomboid. You know, love the game, but the problem is it's so ultra realistic, okay, in terms of like the things you can do, leveling up your character and how you progress. It's so close to progression in real life. In a real zombie apocalypse, it puts you in survival mode. It puts you in survival mode, but it's a game. It's a game. It's pixels on a screen. You're not actually leveling up in real life. And that's why a lot of the time, by the time you're done playing for hours, 6-7 hours on end on a game like that, you feel depleted. You feel depleted and like nothing has been accomplished, because nothing has been accomplished. Okay? So sometimes it's better to just put the games away for a little bit and to focus on your fitness. Okay? Focus on your health. Get in the gym, get buff. Get buff or get thinner, get slimmer, get lean. Achieve the body that you want to achieve, optimal health. All right? So that's number 2. You know, focus on your physical, spiritual, and your mental health. And number 3, I haven't got a number 3. You know what? I think that's just about it. You know, I can't really think of it right now. But it is really important to focus on your physical, spiritual, and mental health. Okay? Putting the games away, and don't put a woman above you. Okay? They're not. God hasn't ordained that to be that way. As a young man, it doesn't mean you disrespect women. Okay? As a young man, when you're under your dad's household, when you're under your father's household, you have to listen to your father. All right? You need to respect your parents. But never put a woman above you. Don't chase women. Women will always be there. Okay? Women will always be there, and don't fall for chasing sex and chasing being with women, because it's an empty void that never gets filled. Okay? It's an empty void that never gets filled. When you chase pleasure, right, everything else will get neglected. You can't live a life of hedonism, because there's no spiritual richness to chasing just pleasure. All right? So I know this world is hard, guys. I know this world is hard. I feel it myself, you know, but you can make the best of yourself, and you can achieve good things in this world and become who God truly wants you to be. A strong, independent man that can lead his family. All right? See, women now, okay, they look at men and they point and they laugh. All right? They say, oh, you know, men this and men that, and they look at us like we're below them. But in times of tragedy, okay, in times of tragedy and catastrophe, when things go horribly wrong, who do they come to? They come to the men of society. Okay? That's who they clutch onto. The men of society. So it's important that you be a good man. And you learn to be a good man. A fit, strong man. Alright? Because no matter what, they're going to end up coming to us. Alright? In the end. We need to move past that. We need to understand the spiritual demons that we're facing at the moment, and the spiritual fight that we have against us. All right, and we need to push forward for God's cause. Okay, not for man's cause, not for the pursuit of self, for the self or for pleasure, but for the spiritual things that's going on in the world. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm getting to work right now, so leave a comment. Okay, like, subscribe. You know what it is, and yeah, let us know who you are. All right, guys. Peace out. God bless.